Today we're diving into daily routines, but not just as a list of chores, more like the building blocks of real-life English. Evan, why do you think routines are so central for language learners?
Great question, Aaron. Describing routines uses some of the most common verbs and time expressions in English. It's like practicing the backbone of conversation. If you can talk clearly about your day, you're already ahead in practical English.
Absolutely. And routines aren't just about language. They shape our habits, our productivity, even our mood. By narrating them in English, we reinforce vocabulary and confidence at the same time.
Right, and there's research backing this up. A 2020 study from Cambridge showed learners who practiced describing their days improved speaking fluency 30% faster. So, talking about routines is both practical and powerful.
Let's start at the beginning, the morning. Mornings are tough for many, but they're packed with essential English verbs. Evan, can you walk us through your morning routine, highlighting key vocabulary?
Sure. I wake up at 6:30 a.m., reach for a glass of water, then brush my teeth and shower. Each action: wake up, brush, shower, get dressed says verbs that pop up constantly in everyday conversation.
That's so true. And even if your morning isn't glamorous, these words help you communicate your needs. For example, if you oversleep, you might say, I hit snooze 3 times.
Exactly. And phrases like, I'm not a morning person, or I need coffee to function, add personality. Talking about your morning makes small talk with friends or coworkers much easier.
After waking up, many people set goals or priorities for the day. How do you approach this, and why is it valuable for learners to describe their plans in English?
I like to jot down a short to-do list 3 main tasks. Saying things like, today I plan to finish my assignment, or I want to call my mom, helps you practice future tense and intention.
That's a great point. Setting a goal, even something tiny, can boost focus. Plus, expressing it in English. My goal today is excellent for interviews or workplace conversations.
Exactly. It also helps you internalize useful phrases like stay productive or keep on track. These are common in both study and work settings, making you sound more natural.
Let's move to breakfast, often called the most important meal of the day. How does talking about breakfast illustrate cultural differences and enrich vocabulary?
Breakfast can be simple, like toast and coffee, or elaborate, like eggs and oatmeal. Describing your meal helps you use food vocabulary and adjectives, light, hearty, or quick.
Plus, sharing breakfast habits opens up cultural exchange. For example, saying, I usually eat rice and fish in the morning can spark conversations about traditions.
Absolutely. And notice how we use different verbs. Grab breakfast, skip cooking, or heat up leftovers. These are real-world expressions that make your English sound authentic.
Let's transition to the afternoon. Energy shifts, and for many, it's time for work or study. How do you describe your afternoon routine in English? And why is balance important?
I usually say, after lunch, I check my assignments and start coding. But I also mention taking breaks. I go for a short walk, or I listen to music to recharge. Balancing productivity and rest is key.
That's so important. Overworking leads to burnout, a word that's becoming more common in English. Saying, I take a break to reset shows self-awareness and helps with mental health too.
Yes, and talking about breaks, I pause for 15 minutes. I unplug from my screen teaches you verbs and idioms that are useful in both personal and professional settings.
Afternoons aren't just about work. Many people add creativity or hobbies into their routine. What's your approach, and how can learners talk about this in English?
For me, podcasting is a creative outlet. I might say, I edit our podcast, or I plan scripts. Learners can use phrases like work on a project, practice guitar, or draw sketches.
That's great. Expressing hobbies in English helps you connect with others. For example, I bake bread in the afternoon could lead to sharing recipes or tips with friends.
Exactly. It also makes your routine unique. Words like unwind, get inspired, or switch gears add color to your English descriptions.
After a long day, evening routines help us relax and recover. Can you describe your typical evening and highlight useful phrases for our listeners?
I usually say, I take a shower, put on cozy clothes, and make dinner. Then I might mention, I read a book, or I stretch for a few minutes. These routines signal to my body that it's time to wind down.
And talking about relaxation is just as important as productivity. Phrases like unplug, wind down, or chill out are common in everyday English and show emotional intelligence.
Absolutely. And if you have a ritual, like lighting a candle or making tea, it's worth sharing. It adds a personal touch and invites others to open up about their routines too.
A lot of people struggle with screen time in the evening. How do you manage it? And what English phrases can help describe this challenge?
I try to say, I avoid screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Phrases like, cut back on screen time or put my phone out of reach are useful. They show intention to protect your sleep.
That's wise. Sleep experts recommend a digital detox before bed. Using words like digital detox, unplug, or wind down can help you explain your habits and why they matter.
Exactly. And if you do sneak in an episode of your favorite show, that's real life. Saying, I sneak in one episode before bed keeps your language honest and relatable.
As the day ends, many people reflect or journal. How does describing this process in English help learners develop both language and self-awareness?
Reflection is powerful. Saying, I write in my journal, or I think about what made me proud today, helps you practice past tense and emotional vocabulary. It's also great for self-growth.
Absolutely. Even a simple phrase like, I let go of stress before bed, uses an idiom and expresses emotional intelligence. These phrases show you can talk about your feelings, not just tasks.
Yes, and if you're not into journaling, you can say, I listen to calming music, or I practice deep breathing. Each action has its own set of useful English phrases.
Finally, let's talk about the night routine. Why is it important, and how can learners describe it in a way that feels peaceful and natural?
A night routine signals to your brain that it's time to rest. I might say, I drink chamomile tea, or I fluff my pillow 3 times. It's my ritual. Sharing these details adds warmth to your English.
That's lovely. And using phrases like wrap myself in a blanket or let my thoughts fade creates a sense of calm. It's not just about sleep, but about self-care and closure.
Exactly. Night routines are about forgiveness and letting go. Even saying, I whisper kind words to myself, or I listen to nature sounds, brings a poetic touch to your language.
To wrap up, Charlotte is here to break down some of the key words and expressions we use today. Charlotte, can you explain a few in simple terms and with examples?
Of course. Unplug means to take a break from electronics. For example, I unplug after work. Recharge means to rest and gain energy, like a nap helps me recharge. These words make your English sound real and modern.
That's so clear. How about wind down and leftovers?
Wind down means to relax after being busy. She reads to wind down. Leftovers are food saved for later. We had pizza leftovers for lunch. Try using these in your own sentences to make your daily English stronger.